been exploring the nature of emptiness. And those words have been chosen very explicitly because we know that we cannot have emptiness without fullness, or fullness without emptiness. But that fullness is existence. And existence is movement. And movement is nature in all its forms. So to say we seek the nature of emptiness has a very profound purpose and reason. Mullah Nasruddin's wife came dashing into their house. "Husband, husband, prepare yourself for some bad news." So Mullah Nasruddin hastily touched the wall, because that's what they did in that place, to ward away the evil news of any kind, and listened to his wife. And his wife said, "Husband, husband, our nephew Halil wants to become a merchant." "Oh," said Mullah Nasruddin, "that ne'er-do-well. Money runs through his fingers like water." "Oh," she said, "that's not the worst of it, husband. Husband, he's coming here to ask us for a loan of money so that he can start his business." "Oh," said the mullah, "oh, what are we going to do with? What are we going to do with? What will we face him with? Because, you know, if I don't give him the money, everyone will say I'm a miser. And if I give him the money, and surely he will lose it all, everybody will berate me for being so stupid as to giving him money." So he said, "What are we going to do?" So his wife said, "Oh, husband, you know, to give him money is like we might as well throw our coins down the well." "Oh," he said, "Wife, you're brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I know what to do." So in due course of time, Halil rocks up at the door and they invite him in, and after they exchange pleasantries and the usual cups of, you know, hot mint tea and so forth, you know, waiting for him to get around to asking what he came for, which he did, of course. And the mullah was ready for him. He said, "Yes, yes, I'm happy to loan you the money to start your business when you're ready." And Halil said, well, when will I be ready?" And mullah said, "Well, you must come to my house every day and put a silver dirham down the well, and I'll tell you when you're ready." So from that day on, Halil came to Mullah's house and he put a silver dirham in. After the first day he said, "Am I ready?" And the mullah said, No, you're not ready." Well, every day after that, Halil came with the silver, but he soon ran out of dirham, so he had to get money from his mother. So pretty soon his mother got tired of giving him money and to put in the well, and then he borrowed money from his friends, but they soon got tired of loaning him money to put in the well. So of course when he had no recourse other than that, he had to go out and get a little job, didn't he? So he went out and he got a job as a porter, just earning a few coins, and so he continued to put silver dirhams in the well. And then one day he came to the well, and he was standing by the well just about to put the silver dirham, and he had a thought. So he quickly went into the mullah and he said, "Mullah, I've decided that I no longer want to put my hard-earned money down the well." And the mullah said, "Ah, now you're ready. Come." So he took Halil down to the well and pulled a rope where the mullah had set up a net just under the water, And there were her little, it was all his silver dirhams collected there. So Mula gave these silver dirhams to Halil and said, now, you have learned the ways of nature. Here is the money that you need to start your business. Do with it what you will. Well, Halil, he never became a very, very rich merchant, but he did earn enough to get married and keep his family in a reasonable lifestyle. And then there's a story about three brothers who decided that they wanted to learn wisdom. So at that time, the wisest, most illustrious being in all of the land, in all of the world as it was known at that time, was King Solomon. Well, they decided that they were going to go and seek wisdom from King Solomon. Well, we know from writings that King Solomon was the wisest man of that time. He was almost godlike. He knew the language of the birds and the animals, and he knew the ways of nature and man. So the three brothers came to King Solomon, hoping to be as wise as he was after some time. And he said, yes, you stay with me and just observe what it is that is done in the course of my days. So for 3 years, the brothers sat in the presence of King Solomon, witnessing the way he dealt with those things that are necessary to maintain a kingdom, as it was with King Solomon. But after 3 years, the brothers decided that they had not learned wisdom. So they decided to go to King Solomon and take their leave of him. So when they presented themselves to King Solomon and said, thank you, but we've decided that we'll return to our homes now because we don't think that we've obtained wisdom, King Solomon said, yes, of course you're free to go, and I can offer you, each of you, 100 gold coins or 3 pieces of wisdom. Now the 3 brothers decided that they would take their gold and make the best of it. But after they'd gone down the road away, the 3rd brother said to his other brothers, I've made a mistake. I've decided that I would prefer to have the wise counsel of King Solomon than to have the gold. He offered it to us. Well, the 2 other brothers pooh-poohed this. No, you stupid. No, we've got our gold. We're going home to live comfortably. So the 2 brothers went off, and the 3rd brother went back to King Solomon and presented himself to him and apologized and said, I made a mistake. I would truly like to learn wisdom, and so I return your 10 gold coins. So King Solomon said, here are the 3 pieces of wisdom for you. At the end of a day, take comfort and do not travel. And if you come to a swollen river, do not attempt to cross. And thirdly, when you return to your home, speak to your wife as a friend and confidant. Now, As King Solomon gave these pieces of advice, he also returned the 10 gold pieces to the third brother, who went on his way. Now, as it happened, he was able to catch up with his other 2 brothers, but he did not tell them what it was that King Solomon had passed on to him. But it came to dusk time, and the night was falling, and there was an inn. And the third brother, remembering the advice and counsel and wisdom of King Solomon, said to his brothers, "Let us find comfort and rest for the day." His brothers said, "No, no, no, we want to get home as quickly as we can. We're going to move on, press on." But the third brother, taking the counsel of King Solomon, took ease for the night in the inn and got up the next morning and continued his travels. Now he hadn't gone far when he realized that during the night a terrible storm had descended, bringing rain, hail, snow and ice. And as he moved on further, he found the bodies of his 2 brothers wedged in a crevice where they'd sought shelter, which had become frozen solid. He wept for his brothers and tried to bury them as best he could according to the rituals of the time. And then, taking their bags of gold, he continued on his way. Again, before long, he came across a river that was in full flood. And remembering the advice of King Solomon, he decided to seek high ground. But as he was looking from a cliff overlooking the flowing torrent, he saw 2 men on donkeys who entered the water and attempted to cross. But being unable to assist them in any way, he watched them as they drowned. After the water had abated, the third brother descended, and there he found the donkeys and the bodies of the 2 that had entered the swollen river, and found that their bags, their saddlebags, were full of gold and gems. He took the gold and gems, and carrying them back, he made his way back to his house. When he arrived and he was greeted by his wife, he remembered the words of King Solomon. "Treat your wife as a friend and a confidant." And with these words, he told his wife every detail that had transpired from the moment he entered King Solomon's court until the moment when he arrived back at their doorstep. Not long after, the wives of the other 2 brothers came to their house, and seeing the gold and jewels and wealth, they asked where their husbands were. And the third brother told them that they had died and had been buried. But the 2 wives didn't believe his story and accused him of killing them for their gold. But the third brother's wife said, "No, my husband speaks the truth, and if you doubt it, let us go and seek the counsel of King Solomon the wise, who knows the ways of men and knows truth." So this the wives decided to do. So they went back to the palace of King Solomon and sought his counsel. King Solomon said, "This brother's story is true." And turning to the wives of the two brothers, he said, "Your husbands did not find the wisdom of the ways of nature, and so they have paid a price. This third brother, seeking wisdom, has found it in the ways of nature, and so can live to reap the rewards of that wisdom." As we know the end of the story, the third brother grew wiser in the ways of nature and lived off this bounty for the rest of his life. The nature of emptiness. And having, as some have already done, sought the meanings of nature explicitly in the dictionaries, which give the number of meanings of nature. But when we look at it ourselves, equating it with this emptiness that we seek to understand, we have the possibility of not only understanding emptiness, but experiencing for ourselves how emptiness and fullness, or stillness and movement, abide, cohabit in our